The wind howled across the barren landscape of Meridian 7, carrying dust that swirled around a broken creature lying half-buried in the rocky terrain. Kural, once a living weapon designed by an advanced alien civilization, now looked more like a discarded piece of machinery than a living being. Its body was a complex mix of biological and synthetic parts, scarred and damaged from years of harsh treatment. The creature's multiple sensory organs were dulled, barely registering the harsh environment around it. Kural had been exiled, a technical failure in a society that valued perfection above all else. The research vessel Horizon hung in orbit, above the planet, its sophisticated scanning systems barely acknowledging the lone figure below. Inside the ship, Dr. Yunbi Park adjusted her monitoring equipment, her eyes scanning the desolate planetary surface. Her daughter Yuna sat nearby, drawing something in her notebook, her small fingers moving carefully across the page. "Mommy?" Yuna asked, her voice soft and curious. "Why do some creatures get left alone?" Dr. Park paused, choosing her words carefully. "Sometimes, people, or beings, don't understand differences. They fear what they cannot explain." Kural's existence was a testament to that fear. Created as a biological weapon, the creature possessed capabilities that terrified its creators. Complex genetic modifications allowed it to adapt, to survive in conditions that would kill most living beings. But those same modifications became its greatest weakness. The alien civilization that created Kural valued absolute control. Any deviation from the original design was considered a threat, and so with clinical precision, they cast Kural out, a living experiment deemed too unpredictable to exist. Days passed. The planet's twin suns scorched the landscape, creating mirages that danced across the rocky ground. Kural's body, designed to survive, slowly consumed its own internal resources. Survival was becoming a mathematical equation of diminishing returns. Yuna's attention kept drifting to the monitoring screens. Something about the readings intrigued her. While most would see just data points and environmental statistics, she saw a story, a lonely story of something left behind. Professor Yesung Park noticed his daughter's concentration. "What do you see, Yuna?" he asked, sitting beside her. "Something's down there," she responded, her finger tracing a strange heat signature on the screen. "Something that doesn't want to die." The research team had come to Meridian 7 to study planetary ecology, to understand how life adapts in extreme conditions. They didn't expect to find a living testament to survival sitting right beneath their sophisticated scanning equipment. Kural's memories flickered like broken holographic images. Memories of creation, of tests, of being considered nothing more than a scientific experiment. No love, no connection, just a series of mathematical calculations and genetic manipulations. As the research vessel's crew continued their work, none paid attention to the small heat signature that represented Kural's diminishing life force. None except a 10-year-old girl who saw beyond the numbers, beyond the scientific data. "Can we help it?" Yuna asked her mother, pointing at the screen. "Doctor," Park hesitated. "Protocols existed, research had boundaries. Interfering with unknown alien life forms carried significant risks." But in that moment, something in Yuna's eyes, a pure, unfiltered compassion, spoke louder than any scientific regulation. She saw a living being where others saw just another planetary anomaly. Kural, unaware of the small drama unfolding in the research vessel, continued its silent struggle for survival. Each breath was a negotiation with death, each moment a testament to the incredible design that allowed it to exist. The planet's harsh winds continued to blow, carrying stories of survival, of exile, of a creature waiting, perhaps hoping for something to change. Little did Kural know that a small human girl had just noticed its existence, and in that moment of recognition, everything was about to change. "Would you like me to continue with the next part of the story?" The research station hummed with quiet activity as Yuna continued watching the screen. Her small fingers traced the strange heat signature that represented Kural's fading life force. Something about the creature felt different, not dangerous but lonely. Dr. Yoonbi Park noticed her daughter's intense concentration. "What are you looking at?" she asked, moving closer to the monitoring station. Yuna pointed at a rocky outcropping on the planetary surface. "There's something alive down there. Something hurt." Most scientists would have dismissed a child's observation, but Dr. Park had learned to trust her daughter's unusual intuition. She adjusted the scanning resolution, zooming in on the area. Yuna indicated. The image revealed a complex biological form partially buried in rocky ground. Its body showed multiple damage points, some recent, some old. Survival seemed impossible under such conditions. Professor Jae-sung Park reviewed the data. "It's remarkable," he muttered. "The creature's biological systems are unlike anything we've encountered. Multiple adaptive mechanisms working simultaneously." Yuna wasn't listening to the technical details. Her eyes remained fixed on the creature's location. Something inside her felt a connection, a strange pull that she couldn't explain. That evening during dinner, she couldn't stop thinking about the lonely being on the planet's surface. While her parents discussed research protocols and planetary exploration, Yuna's mind wandered. "Can we help it?" she asked suddenly, interrupting her father's scientific explanation. Professor Park looked surprised. "Help what, sweetheart?" "The creature on the planet," Yuna responded, her eyes serious. "It's alone. It's hurting." Dr. Park exchanged a careful look with her husband. Their daughter had always been different, more sensitive, more connected to living things than most children her age. The next morning, Yuna made a decision. She packed a small bag with nutrition packs from the research station's medical supplies. Her movements were careful, deliberate, like someone on an important mission. "Where are you going?" her mother asked, catching Yuna near the expedition equipment. "Just exploring," Yuna responded, her voice innocent. The research station's outer environment suits were designed for professional researchers, but Yuna had watched her parents prepare for planetary explorations many times. She knew exactly how to adjust the suit settings. When the research team became busy with data analysis, Yuna saw her opportunity. The planetary exploration vehicle stood ready, its external sensors already calibrated for Meridian 7's harsh environment. Her small hands moved with surprising precision. She understood more about the equipment than most adults would believe possible. Minutes later, Yuna was outside the research station. The planet's twin suns cast long shadows across the rocky landscape. Protective suit systems regulated her temperature, filtering the thin atmosphere. She moved carefully, tracking the heat signature she had memorized from the monitoring screens. Each step was calculated, each movement purposeful. The rocky terrain was challenging. Sharp stones shifted under her boots. Strange wind patterns created optical illusions that could easily confuse an inexperienced explorer. But Yuna was not afraid. Something guided her, a feeling stronger than fear, more powerful than scientific understanding. After walking for nearly an hour, she found the location. There, partially hidden between large rock formations, lay Kural. The creature looked different, in person, more complex, more alive. Yuna didn't approach directly. Instead, she carefully placed a nutrition pack near the creature's location. Then she stepped back, watching. Kural's sensory system slowly registered the new element in its environment. Something different, something unexpected. A small act of compassion had just changed everything. The planet's winds continued to blow. The twin suns continued their eternal dance across the sky, and a small human girl had just taken the first step in a journey that would challenge everything her civilization understood about life, connection, and survival. Would you like me to continue with the next part of the story? Kural's sensory systems detected the strange package. Foreign, unexpected, unlike anything encountered in its previous experiences of abandonment and survival. The nutrition pack remained untouched for hours. Survival instincts battled with deep-rooted mistrust. Something about the package felt different, not a threat, but an invitation. Yuna watched from a safe distance, her environment suit blending with the rocky terrain. Her parents would be worried. But something more important was happening right now. Slowly, cautiously, Kurel extended a damaged appendage. One sensory probe investigated the package. Chemical analysis began, scanning for potential toxins, examining the strange offering. The nutrition pack was designed for human consumption, but its complex molecular structure contained universal nutritional elements. Proteins, minerals, basic sustenance that could potentially support multiple biological systems. Kurel's first taste was hesitant, then desperate, then consuming. Days passed. Yuna continued her careful observations. She began bringing more packages, leaving them at calculated distances. Each time she moved a little closer. Dr. Park discovered her daughter's expeditions on the planetary tracking system. Initial anger transformed into scientific curiosity. What was Yuna attempting to communicate? Professor Jae-sung Park reviewed the data. Kurel's vital signs were changing, stabilizing. The creature that was supposed to be dying was suddenly showing unexpected resilience. Yuna started developing a communication method. Simple drawings, hand gestures, symbols sketched in the planetary dust. She understood something the research team didn't. Communication wasn't just about language. It was about connection. Kurel began responding, first with basic movements, then with more complex interactions. Strange appendages would move in patterns that seemed almost like acknowledgement. The research team watched in growing amazement. Their sophisticated translation algorithms couldn't decode the interactions, but Yuna seemed to understand perfectly. It was created as a weapon, Dr. Park explained to her husband. But it's more than that. It's a living being with complex emotional responses. Kurel's backstory emerged in fragments, a genetic experiment, a biological system designed for adaptation and survival, discarded when it showed characteristics beyond its original programming. Yuna's drawings told stories. She showed images of her family, of the research vessel, of planetary landscapes. Simple representations that spoke of connection and understanding. Kurel's responses became more intricate. Strange symbol patterns emerged in the dust. Complex representations that hinted at a sophisticated internal communication system. The research team's initial protocols began to break down. This was no longer just a scientific observation. This was a first contact scenario unlike anything in human experience. Professor Park realized his daughter was doing what years of diplomatic training could not, establishing communication with a completely alien intelligence. Kurel's adaptive systems were learning. Each interaction with Yuna expanded its understanding. What was once a discarded weapon was becoming something else entirely. Temperature readings showed Kurel's biological systems stabilizing, healing, transforming. Yuna continued her patient communication. No fear, no judgment. Just pure, unconditional connection. The planet's twin suns watched. The rocky landscape remained unchanged. But something extraordinary was happening. A bridge was being built between two completely different forms of intelligence. One small human, one exiled creature, breaking every scientific expectation. Communication was happening, not through complex algorithms or sophisticated technology, but through something much more powerful. Understanding. Would you like me to continue with the next part of the story? The research vessel's communication systems lit up with urgent messages. Alien diplomatic channels were transmitting warnings about Kurel's existence, demanding immediate containment or elimination. Dr. Yunbi Park studied the incoming transmissions. Each message carried a similar tone. Kurel was a dangerous biological weapon, a failed experiment that must be destroyed. They want to kill it, Yuna said quietly, her eyes fixed on the screen. Professor Jae-sung Park reviewed the complex diplomatic protocols. The alien civilization that created Kurel demanded immediate action. Their technological superiority was clear. They could easily destroy the research vessel if their demands were not met. Yuna had other plans. Her communication with Kural had revealed something extraordinary. This wasn't just a weapon. This was a living being with thoughts, feelings, and the capacity to learn. The research team gathered emergency meetings. Most scientists supported following the alien civilization's demands. Maintaining diplomatic relations was crucial for interstellar research. But Yuna's evidence changed everything. She presented her collected data, drawings, communication patterns, and biological readings that showed Kural's incredible adaptive capabilities. Each piece of evidence challenged the original assessment of the creature as a simple weapon. "It can think," Yuna explained, her voice calm and serious. "It can feel. It wants to live." Dr. Park realized her daughter had done something remarkable. She had transformed a scientific observation into a moral challenge. The alien diplomatic team sent their representatives. Large, imposing figures with technological enhancements that made them look more machine than living being. They demanded immediate compliance. Yuna stood between them and Kural's location, a small human child facing an advanced alien delegation. "You cannot destroy something that is alive," she said, her voice surprisingly steady. The alien representatives were confused. Their programming didn't understand childhood defiance. Their technological systems were designed for precise elimination, not emotional negotiation. Professor Park prepared the legal arguments. He highlighted the research vessel's diplomatic immunity. He presented scientific evidence of Kural's potential, value as a research subject, but it was Yuna's simple statement that changed everything. Every life has value. The diplomatic challenge escalated. The alien civilization threatened technological retaliation. Their communication systems could disable the entire research vessel with a single signal. But something unexpected happened. The research team, scientists, who had previously seen Kural as just another research subject, now saw something different. They saw a living being fighting for survival. Kural's biological systems began to stabilize. Its adaptive capabilities were improving with each interaction. What was once considered a failed weapon was showing remarkable potential. The alien delegation presented their final ultimatum: destroy Kural, or face complete diplomatic isolation. Dr. Park looked at her daughter. Yuna's determination was unlike anything she had ever seen. "We will not destroy life," Professor Park stated firmly, "simply because it is different." The research vessel's communication systems prepared for potential conflict. Defensive shields activated. Scientific data was secured. Yuna continued her silent vigil. Her hand stretched out, not in fear, but in protection. Kural's strange appendages moved, not as a weapon, but as a response to protection. The diplomatic challenge had become something more than a scientific dispute. It was now a test of understanding, of compassion, of what it truly means to recognize life in all its complex, unexpected forms. The planet's twin suns continued their eternal dance. The rocky landscape remained unchanged. But something extraordinary was happening. A small human girl was changing the universe, one act of compassion at a time. Would you like me to continue with the final part of the story? The research vessel became a sanctuary, not just a scientific platform, but a place of transformation. Kural's adaptation accelerated. Its complex biological systems, once considered a weapon, now showed remarkable healing capabilities. What scientists thought was a failure was proving to be an extraordinary breakthrough. Yuna watched carefully as Kural's strange appendages began, reconstructing damaged parts of its own body, healing, growing, changing. Dr. Park's research team documented everything. Each moment was a scientific miracle. Kural was rewriting everything they understood about biological adaptation. The alien diplomatic team remained silent. Their technological threats dissolved in the face of unexpected scientific discovery. Professor Park prepared detailed reports. Kural was no longer a weapon. It was a living system with incredible potential. Medical applications, biological research, adaptive technologies that could revolutionize multiple scientific fields. Yuna's simple act of compassion had transformed an exile into a potential savior. The research vessel's medical bay became Coral's recovery space. Strange medical instruments scanned its complex biological structure. Each scan revealed more complexity, more potential. "It wants to help," Una would say, watching the creature's intricate movements. Her parents realized she understood something deeper. Coral wasn't just recovering, it was learning, growing, becoming something new. Diplomatic channels remained tense. The alien civilization that created Coral watched carefully. Their failed weapon was becoming something they never expected. A living being with choice. Weeks passed. Coral's communication abilities expanded. Strange symbol patterns emerged. Complex representations of thoughts that challenged everything scientists understood about alien intelligence. The research vessel became more than a scientific platform. It became a place of healing, of understanding. Professor Park prepared presentations for the global scientific community. This wasn't just a research discovery. This was a moment that could change how humanity understood life itself. Dr. Park analyzed the biological data. Coral's adaptive systems could potentially solve multiple medical challenges. Regenerative technologies. Adaptive healing methods. Una continued her patient communication. Her drawings became more complex. Her understanding deeper. The alien diplomatic team's final communication was unexpected. Not a threat, but a request to understand. What happened to their failed weapon? How had it changed? Coral's response was simple. A complex symbol pattern that translated into a universal message. I choose to live. I choose to help. The research vessel's mission transformed. From a simple planetary exploration to something much larger. A bridge between different forms of intelligence, different forms of life. Una's childhood innocence had achieved what years of diplomatic training could not. She saw life where others saw only a weapon, potential where others saw only failure. The medical bay became a symbol of hope. Coral's recovery was more than a scientific achievement. It was a statement about compassion, about understanding. Professor Park's final report was simple. Life adapts. Life grows. Life finds a way. The research vessel continued its journey. Coral integrated into the research team, not as a weapon, but as a partner, a living system with incredible potential. Una watched with quiet satisfaction. She had saved a life, changed a destiny. The universe watched, and somewhere, in the vast complexity of existence, something changed. Hope emerged. Would you like me to elaborate on any part of the story?